I didn't think much of my neighbor at first. Quiet, polite, forgettable. That's what made it so much worse later on. Before we begin, if you enjoy slow, unsettling horror stories that get under your skin, do me a favor and subscribe now. Now, this channel is for you, because this story is about that chilling moment when you realize someone knows you best only when you re-unconscious. It started with timing. Just a simple, repetitive coincidence that felt too perfect to be random. I'd wake up in the morning, roll over, and peek through the blinds, and there he was, outside, every single time. Not a minute earlier, not a minute later. Exactly when I opened my eyes, he'd be there, maybe taking out his trash or just standing by his car. At first, I dismissed it. People have routines, right? We live in the same building on the same schedule. It had to be a coincidence. But the perfect synchronicity of it started to feel less like chance and more like a carefully calibrated performance. Then I started noticing something else, something more subtle. The small adjustments. I'm a bit of a night owl, so my sleep schedule can be all over the place. On nights when I stayed up late, binge watching a show or getting lost in a book until 2 or 3 in the morning, he'd be out later too. I'd see a light on in his apartment across the way, or catch a glimpse of him through my window, pacing on his balcony in the dead of night. Conversely, on the rare occasions I turned in early, say around 10, his lights would go out almost immediately after mine. The street outside would be still. He never once looked directly at my windows. He never had to. It was like he was tuned into a frequency that I was broadcasting without even knowing it. A signal tied directly to my consciousness. At this point, I was officially creeped out. The coincidences were piling up too neatly, so I decided to test it. I was going to break his pattern. One night, I left all the lights on in my apartment. I turned the TV up, creating a constant hum of noise. I'd get up and walk around every so often, making sure there was random movement inside. I was determined to throw him off. To prove to myself I was just being paranoid, but it didn't matter, none of it mattered. I eventually had to sleep, and the moment I finally succumbed to exhaustion and my eyes closed for good, I just knew. He moved. Not before I fell asleep. Not an hour after. The instant I was gone. It was a terrifying thought that my own body surrendered asleep was the trigger he was waiting for. One night, the line was crossed. I was deep in sleep when a sound pulled me out of it. A knock. It was so soft, so careful, it almost felt like part of my dream. Tap, tap, tap. My heart hammered against my ribs. I lay there, frozen, listening. Silence. After a few minutes, I crept to the front door and peered through the peephole. Nothing. The hallway was empty, bathed in that dim, yellow glow of the overhead lights. I checked the locks, convinced myself I'd imagined it, and eventually went back to bed, though sleep didn't come easily. The next morning, as I was leaving for work, he was in the hallway. He gave me that same polite, empty smile, and then he said it. "Sorry if I woke you last night." My blood ran cold. The air left my lungs. How could he possibly know? He hadn't been at the door when I checked. He was just apologizing for something he shouldn't have known about. I became obsessed. I had to know how he was doing it. I checked everything. I swept my apartment for hidden cameras, for microphones, for any piece of tech that could be monitoring me. I scanned my Wi-Fi network for unknown devices. I checked my phone, my laptop, my smart speaker, looking for any app or program that could be betraying me. Nothing. There was absolutely no tech, no signals, no logical explanation. And that's when the horrifying truth finally dawned on me. It was so much simpler and so much more terrifying than any hidden camera. He wasn't tracking my sleep through technology, he was waiting for it. He was listening. Some predators watch for movement. They hunt by sight. But he was different. He was listening for the opposite. Some people with a certain kind of patience can listen for breathing. They can hear the rhythm change as you drift from wakefulness into sleep. Others, and this is what truly chilled me to the bone, they listen for stillness. For the absolute cessation of sound. For that precise moment when all the little movements of life, the shifting in a chair, the clearing of a throat, the turning of a page, all of it just stops. For the moment you're no longer aware, that's how he knew. He was waiting for the silence. That night, I decided I had to know for sure. I had to face it. I went through my usual routine, but this time I only pretended to sleep. I got into bed, turned off the light, and forced my body to be completely still. I controlled my breathing, making it slow and deep, mimicking the rhythm of true sleep. It was agonizing. Every muscle screamed to twitch. Every nerve was on fire. I lay there, barely breathing, not moving a single inch. Minutes crawled by, feeling like hours, then an hour passed, then two. Nothing happened. The silence in my apartment was absolute, a heavy, suffocating blanket. I started to think maybe I was wrong, that I had finally lost my mind. And then I heard it. A whisper right from the other side of my front door. A low, gravelly voice that sliced through the silence. You're still awake. Some people don't need to watch you live your life. They're not interested in your daily routines. They wait. They wait until you're gone for the night, until you're at your most vulnerable. They wait for the quiet. If this story disturbed you, and you're maybe going to leave a light on tonight, please like the video. And if you want more stories that will keep you up, subscribe for more from When Lights Out. Thanks for listening.